Cricket Racing presents Show Us Your Tips, looking towards the, what will be, 20th of February, something like that, 19th of February, 2021. Group 1 racing again, the Black Caviar Lightning Stakes, headlines Flemington, and some good racing at Rosehill as well. Beaver, what's going on?
Oh, mate, just you know how it is, getting through the week,
I do know
looking
how it
to get
is.
towards, yes, just looking to get towards the weekend and hopefully find some winners for the punters.
We kick off at Flemington, where we'll start there with the Group 1 feature on the card with the rail true, track good, all looks good for some A-grade Flemington stuff. We kick off with a 2,000 metre benchmark 84, and how are you going to start us off?
Yeah, interesting affair here. Got the Sydney Invader here in Crystal Pegasus, and I'm gonna go for the Crystal Pegasus in this. As you know, quite often the Sydney horses coming to Melbourne show their dominance, and Crystal Pegasus comes to Flemington here with some good runs under its belt. It was a really strong win last start, and yeah, just you won by about half a length over Casino Kid, but they gapped the rest, and yeah, it was very good fresh as well. So I think 2,000 metres suits at Flemington and should be hard to beat here. Main danger, Tiger Tiger. I think it can run well as well. It's got some really good form, and around the double figure odds is a knockout chance.
Crystal Pegasus stood out like a sore thumb here, bringing the winning Sydney form down to a pretty average race. I know Tiger Tiger has been winning, but felt like that's weaker stuff. You've nailed it on the
It
head
is.
there. J Mac Waller, 2,000 metres, as I said, is its ideal distance. And I think the price is more than fair. Happy to start the day that way. Race 2 is a mile benchmark 84. I'm happy to keep going with the day with the favourite here, Tuvalu. He had a bit of a temperature a couple of weeks back. It's been safe for this. Lines up in this is a midweek race, let's be honest. Gentleman Roy, obvious danger, will roll along on pace, but I think this is a better than midweek horse, and we'll win this and go on to better stuff. What are you thinking here?
Nothing much else to add there, mate. Looks a good horse, and I expect it to be winning this fairly comfortably.
Race 3 is a benchmark 78 for the girls, and this is a little bit trickier. Any thoughts?
Yeah, don't know. It is too much trickier. I think there's only two chances here. Johnson, American Angel. I don't see too many dangers outside of that. Johnson's last two runs have been impressive to say the least. Winning form is good form. It's won its first three. I think it continues on its winning way. Main danger, American Angel. And then outside of that, I don't see too many dangers. I think Groovy Kind of Love will probably run tomorrow night. Um, and therefore, yeah, it'll be down to those two.
I'm actually flipping around to American Angel as a horse I haven't necessarily been a fan of, but now it's put a couple together. I think it's get racing quite well and fits in here. You're stepping up in grade. I wasn't quite sure what to make of that last win. It was obviously tough there, but again, another step in grade is a concern. So going with the tried and true. And I thought for your early quarters and like any other one I'd look at would be Sentimental rolling along on pace, coming down from Sydney as well. But two main chances there. I agree with you in regards to that. The listed 2-year-old Talent Stakes is race 4 over the 1,100 metres. Given the time, I struggled to really stamp anything here. I did like the trial of Zenzella down the bottom. That's found J-Mac on debut and might go right, an each way price there, but didn't have a great deal of confidence. We'll obviously know more as we do generally with these 2-year-olds afterwards, Beaver. But have you any standing out to you?
No, I was a bit the same as you, mate. This is pretty hard to line up. The ones that have had a start or two, not overly enthused on their runs, and there's a few first starters here as well. So, look, I was a bit unsure on this race, so I just left it alone.
Fair enough. Race 5 is the 1,400 metre Vanity for Group 3 for the Phillies, where actually I like this race. I've got Socialist on top. I think it's coming from some slightly better stuff. Down here gets Jamie Carr. It's got a nice blending gate there from gate 9. at Flemington, and I was just happy to pen everything coming through the Manouche race. And so it sort of left me with that. And the main danger resuming Barb Raider, who did some good stuff last prep. They were the main two I looked at. What do you think?
Yeah, I just reversed him, mate. I like Barb Raider. I think it can run well fresh. I thought its form last preparation was pretty good. Um, yeah, and I suspected it's primed and ready to run a really good race here, and looks to get the right track into the race. Gate 6, I think, suits, and yeah, I'm going with Barb Raider.
Well, quite he kicks off with the CSA Stakes Group 3 for the boys over 1,400 meters. This is a good race, I
Mm.
think. How have you lined them all up?
Yeah, it's a really good race. I like this race. There's some horses resuming here. A couple have had one or two starts. I've gone for Forgot You resuming. I thought the trial was outstanding. Um, I think that this will come back a much bigger and better horse this time in, and I think it can run well fresh. Obviously, I'll be looking for much further than this, but I think Flemington Straight 1400 first up is a potentially good target. So I think it can run well. I thought Pesquero was a good run last start as well. Thought it was impressive enough, and I thought it could be run a really nice race as well. So I wouldn't rule it out. They're sort of the two that I had on top, and obviously I wouldn't want to turn anyone off Captivant if they did like it. I think it'll be much better improved from its first up run. But Forgot You on top for me, but Pesquero and Captivant I am concerned about.
Words out of my mouth. I don't have much more to add. Forgot you on top. I think 950 is just a bet, an easy bet to have too each way. I love the gate here at Flemington. It's going to blend into this race. It did it. Some of those wins at the Valley last prep were amazing. Forget about the Derby run, just didn't run the distance, but everything else last prep was great. It's going to uh, be in this race up to its eyes, and happy to, as I said, I'd back this in one of the Randwick features down the road. So it's on top for me. And yeah, you covered the other chance. Pescara lightly raced, and well, Pinstripe was nice last time. I think maybe a bit short, and not entirely sure what it beat either. So forgot you, easy bet to have. Uh, for me, the feature, the Black Caviar Lightning Stakes over the 1,000 meters. Wait for age up the straight. Nature Strip favorite. First up, Jamie Carr. What are you doing?
Wow, what a race!
Yeah.
It's a real cracker here. It's I was just trying to work out how this race is going to be run and won. I think that might be a bit slick for Mask Crusader, first up over the 1,000. I know the straight track might be okay, but it'll be zooming home. But I think the others might be a little bit too quick. Obviously, Profiteer is probably going to go quite quick and probably lead these. I think Nature Strip probably just gets off its back and sits outside it or just behind it with Eduardo. Look, I've got to go Nature Strip. It's the fastest horse and the classiest horse here, not by a long stretch, but certainly if it's right to go, it's hard to beat, and I think it's decent odds for that. But Eduardo, we know how good it is. It'll chase hard, and Mask Crusader, it can be flying home.
Yeah, I've got an H strip on top as well. It did obviously Eduardo beat it fresh last time, but that was over the 1,100, and H strip had some bigger goals down the line. I think it gets a perfect city. I mean, talking about the way you think it'd be run, I think Profiteer and Eduardo go straight to the front, and H strip just gets a camp on it. And 1,000 meters is perfect fresh, and I think they'll dominate the race. I think those three will be the first in line and the first across the line. Not Profiteer will drop off, and one of the other ones will get it. But there are snipers' chances here. Gtra didn't have a great prep last time. Interesting if that's fresh. Home affairs, I'm not quite sure what all that means at form, so I was against it as well. But yeah, Nature Strip on top and pretty comfortable this time. Race 8 is the Elms Handicap over 1,400-meter listed race. A couple of our favourites here. I think they're the two chances. Elephant 650, easy bet to have at the each way price there. Did some good stuff last time, ending in the Crystal Mile, and slight drop in grade here. will be in the finish with Mr. Brightside, who's very honest and obviously put together the picket fence last prep. Just missing in the Cantala, but I think they're the two, and just putting Elephant on top. Maybe more out of love than any sound analysis there, but only 2 chances for me. What have you done?
Yeah, I've done exactly the same way here. I think Elephant is going to be very hard to beat first up. I think it had probably fallen through slightly more difficult races than Mr. Brightside. But, you know, Mr. Brightside's packed with plenty of potential. But I thought Elephant might just get over the top of it at the end, suited by the Flemington straight, and might just be a bit too good for Mr. Brightside. But another good race, and certainly other chances. I think I'd also be happy to spec King Magnus at around the $15 mark. I think it can probably get a sit and be hard to hold out as well.
Yeah, onto the All-Star Mile, I believe, after this. 1,200 metre benchmark 84 finishes the day. How are you wrapping it up?
Yeah, I think the Garden can bounce back into the winning stall here. I think it's going to be super hard to beat in this race. I think it gets the right run. I think it'll be suited by the straight down the Flemington straight here. 1,200 has that run under its belt. It'll be fitter for this and very hard to beat.
Yeah, same. Finishing with the Garden, hard to beat. Very nice race for it. It'll bounce, should be able to roll on its own pace and take off when it needs to. I thought the one over the odds is Gold Spark. We'll see how that gate has been up the gate one up the straight has been for the day, but might be one for your quaddies. Apart from that, yeah, couldn't get too enthused about the rest of it. I think this is a nice horse. Second up will be much better. So Garden on top for me. For progretracing.com.au, actually, do you want to do your quaddie? Progretracing.com.au?
Yeah, I can do a quaddie for you, mate.
For Flemington on
I'll
Lightning
do the
Stakes Day.
Progress Racing quaddie. Yep. First leg, having number 1, Captivant. Number 2, Forgot You. Number 4, Zethos. Number 7, Pinstriped. And number 11, Pesquero. So I'm going to make sure we stay in early doors. As we get to the next race, I'm going number 1, Nature Strip, number 2, Eduardo, and number 3, Mars Crusader. The winner will come from one of those 3. When we get to the third leg, I'm going to go number 1, Elephant, number 5, Groundswell, number 6, King Magnus, number 8, Mr. Brightside, and number 10, Grand Slam. And to finish off, I'm going to go number 3, Pioneer River, number 8, Gold Spark, and number 10, The Garden.
Very good. And your best in value while we're at it.
Yeah, my best bet of the day comes up in race number 9, number 10, The Garden. And my value pick of the day comes up in race 6, number 2, Forgot You.
My values Forgot You as well. I'm with you there. And my best will start the day. We'll top and tail the day. I'll make my best Crystal Pegasus in the 2,000 metre race to start the day there. Let's head up to Rosehill, where we've just had a bit of a storm through Sydney, but I believe it's soft at the moment. A bit of rain around. So keep an eye on that and see how it plays as I just adjust my map and notes. With the rail is in the true though, so hopefully plays fair enough for now. Potentially off the fence, depending how we're going with the weather. Kicks off with the highway, 1,400 metres. Anything here?
Nothing for me there, mate.
And race 2, 1,100 metre benchmark 94. Anything here?
Yeah, race 2. I've gone. This is a good little race.
It is a good little race.
I think there's a few chances in this race. Any of the top 4 can win. But Rule of Law is just going really good at the moment. Just keeps finding ways of winning and getting to the post. And I think it's hard to beat. Main danger, Gravina. I think it always jump out of the ground. One of those horses hard to catch, but could run over and fresh.
I really like the way Rule of Law last start was able to just tag and go past him. The last couple of starts, actually, it hasn't had to control and lead, which has been good. I think it's same setup here off Mr. Mosaic, and I think they might not go that quickly, and it'll get the first shot and might be the only shot it needs. So Rule of Law on top, scared of both blue colours. Actually, I think they can both run well, but very good race. Potentially, I'm pretty glad it's not in the early quaddy because I'd probably end up throwing out all of them in bar one. But Rule of Law on top for me. The midway benchmark 72 over the 1,500 metres, and I'm just looking, I hadn't seen this market yet. I wasn't sure what to do with that last midway where most of these come through, so I just put it in the bin and went to Mystery Doble, $17. Reece Jones on top, coming through some decent metro stuff in the past, is nice and honest, and might give you a sight here. As I said, didn't really know what to do with the rest of them. Have you got any better clarity?
Look, I'm sticking with Military Expert. Reason being is we're pretty keen on it first up.
Yes.
And it did disappoint, but hoping that's just the first up blues. And I'm hoping that, look, it strips a bit fitter for this. And I think, hopefully might even jump to the lead here, and that might help it out, and hopefully it can be rated well. But I'm willing to give it one more chance before jumping off. So Military Expert for me.
Yeah, fair call. Race 4 is the Millie Fox for 1,300 metres here. I'm with the market order. Expat on top. I think it's a nice horse. I think it gets pretty good control of this race, actually, just looking through this. And it will be very hard to run down. Terrified of Crone, who's put in 2 good runs. Both starts his prep. I feel like dry might have been better for it. I think the wet, I know it's got some wet winds, but just got a feeling it's better on the dry. So Expat on top gets a nice setup here. What are you thinking?
Yeah, look, I tend to agree with you. I think Expat looks hard to beat here. He's going to jump straight to the front. 55 kilos is weighted well. Certainly going to give him something to catch. And 1,300 at Rosehill up front, if it's suited, there is at times very much suited by the front runners. And if that's the case here, they won't be catching Expat.
Race 5, 1,100 metre benchmark 78. Clash with some good lightly raced horses here. What have you done?
Yeah, it's a tricky race. A couple of sort of pretty close in the market here. I think there's a bit of a betting duel between Able Willie and Nazertium, who's had 3 from 3. I'm willing. I want to go for Able Willie. I'm going to give Willie a chance to redeem itself. I thought its return was pretty good, albeit it just fell short as a $3 favourite. I think it can improve on that run, and I think can get over the top of these in the end.
I don't necessarily always do this, obviously, but I'm going to go with Nasturtium. I just think it's been winning in second gear. It was pretty soft at Canterbury. I think it might have more to show. It's going to roll forward here and give them something to chase. Tim Clark on top is the man you want to be doing that. So happy to be with it. Obviously, you just spoke well about Able Willie, so not going to spend too much more time on this, apart from maybe for someone like Foxfighter, might be one for your early quaddies if you're looking a bit wider. But interested to see what it's got in town. Looking forward to it. Race 6 is the Silver Slipper for the girls, where, well, what have you done here? What have you done with all these 2-year-old fillies?
I mean, pretty hard to go past the favourite, to be honest. Queen of the Ball. I kind of looked for something to beat it, but then I'm looking back here and I'm going, it's beaten Revolutionary Mist by 4 lengths.
Yeah.
Who came out and was ultra impressive and went to Melbourne. So they took it to Melbourne and was super impressive. So you've got to, on that basis, you just got to assume that this is a good horse. Otherwise, because Revolutionary Mist was outstanding and took care of him easily in Melbourne, and that looked to be a fairly good quality field. Outside of that, looking at some of these horses' form, they're a bit mixed. So really hard to line up. So based on that, I'm actually surprised Queen of the Ball is probably not a little bit shorter, to be honest.
Because it was that biased leaders track, I would suggest would be the main concern there.
Yeah.
So,
but this could be as well.
Exactly. So we'll wait and see. The more I think about it, the more I'm a little bit scared of it, but of it being that way. I thought Sothera's debut was quite good, and Lady Laguna's trialled well
Yes.
since. And I think that Lady Laguna might be a proper contender. So at the each way, I'm more comfortable backing Cythera in this race than maybe Queen of the Ball just for those lead up concerns. But you've summed it up very well. It'd be the only other chance I'd really look at when it comes to betting. So 15 from 13 for me. Quaddy kicks off with the Parramatta Cup, where I've got no idea. I tried. I looked at this. I ended up putting too much to bear on top. A bit concerned about gate one, but it means probably be more forward from the Waller camp. Going well this prep, and I like of the lightweight chances. It's the one he's put McAvoy on, which I'm just reading between lines suggesting might be his best chance. But when you've got whatever it is, 7 Wallers and Tonte first up, who's a definite chance, how are you supposed to tip in these? Did you have anything better?
Yeah, I'll tip for you, mate. I've gone no compromise. I thought the first 2 runs this spell have been pretty good.
They have been.
I think
Which
getting out
I
to the
think I tipped at both
1900.
of those.
I think getting out to the 900 is perfect now. I think it's ready for this. Soft track at handles. Look, it ran home quite nicely behind a couple of lengths behind Frosty Rocks last start, and when Frosty Rocks led all the way at Ramwick. Um, and first up was pretty good as well. That was a length behind some decent horses in special reward and through the cracks. Prior to that, was pretty good in some good class races behind. I think it ran third in the Newcastle Cup behind Great House, and was only a couple of lengths behind Montefilia as well. In a race where Antante finished second, which is why I've also thought Antante's a really big chance in this. First up at 1900, I'm assuming Waterhouse has it ready. And if it gets the right run sort of up front or just off the pace, it could be the knockout chance. But both at 650, I'd be backing both of those.
When I first looked at the race, Antante was the first horse that obviously because number one, but also the one logically took my eye as getting favours and perhaps being the best horse, to be honest. Race 8 is the Hobartville Stakes for the 3-year-olds. We see Animo second up. We see Converge second up. What are you doing with both of those two, and as well as the other 10 in the field?
Look, I think you got to, at this point in time, stick with Animo. Again, I think out to the 1400 now, that's perfect. Yeah, I think it's going to be super hard to beat in this. And again, if it's going to go on to bigger and better things this prep, it's really probably got to show its quality in this race. $1.75, I think, is probably the right price.
Yeah, it was a fantastic return given the way the track played that day. And I think they were quite public about how he wasn't quite ready yet. Much better here, like the setup. It's performed on a soft track in obviously the Cox Plate. So it, yeah, it's on top from Converge, who I mentioned earlier, who was another great return behind Paul Lille. So they're the main two. Looking down the rest of it, yeah, they're the main two. Let's move on. Race 9, benchmark 100 over the 1400, and I had no idea.
Yeah, look, I've landed on Giannis in this from the Wallace stable, ridden by McAvoy. I know the form doesn't look great, 009, but it did win the start before that. Well, at Kembla, but it's been racing in some really good company races. And I just think, I think mostly Group 1 races last start behind the likes of Animos and in the Congo and Animos race. And then prior to that, it beat Tiger of Malay at Kembla Grange. And I think that's pretty, they're good quality horses for a field like this. So I think if it can get back anywhere near its best form, it can run an almighty race here. So Giannis on top for me.
Yeah, fair call. I think I actually gave it a chance in that Paulile race a couple of weeks back. So it was inconclusive. We finished the day with a benchmark 78, 1400 meters, where Dajran was ultra impressive on its Australian debut at Warwick Farm. the wet might be a concern being a Frankel, but look, I've got it on top from the couple of Waller ones down the bottom there, Syndicato and Fine Point. It who both trialled very, very quietly, coming back fresh here for Waller. But again, a tricky race. What have you made of it?
Yeah, I've gone for Darjan as well. I think it'll be super hard to beat. It was ultra impressive, and I don't think this is any more difficult. Um, I think it'll be further improved and probably stamp its authority here.
Very good. I suppose I've got to do a quaddie to wrap us up here. First leg. One on Tonte, 7 Parry Sound, 8 Mighty Beale, 11 No Compromise, 12 Marabis, 13 Too Much to Bear. We'll skinny up the second leg with 1 Animo, 2 Converge. That'll do us. Race 9. Heaven help us. 4 Dillmaster, 5 Morrissey, 6 New Arrangement, 9 Giannis, 11 Maduakapi, 12 Invinciano, and home with 3 Dajran, 10 Syndicato, and 13 Fine Point. If you're feeling especially like me, maybe just throw the field into the second last leg. But we'll move on and present a best and value. I'm going to actually make Nasturtium my best interest, see what it can do in town, unlike me, but let's find out. And my value will be Mystery Doble in the midway, around the 20s there. I think it's a fair bet. What have you done?
Yeah, my best bet of the day comes up in race 6, number 13, Queen of the Ball. I think it'll be hard to beat. And my value comes up in race 7, number 11, No Compromise.
Very good. Sunshine Coast, I believe, on the weekend. Anything up north?
Yeah, I had a few bets for us up north. I'm going to stick with my horse in race 2, number 5, Paladas. It won't be probably any great odds, but I've got to get some money back on it. So hoping it can win. Race 4, number 10, Canadian Dancer. It'll be super hard to beat after its last start win. And then in race 7, number 5, Zuma, California.
Very good. Good stuff, Beaver. Good stuff, punters. Good luck on the weekend. Enjoy some fantastic racing across the country, really. And we'll see everyone next week for our midweek preview. Catch you soon.